As a software engineer, I like to create videos about the projects that I do, and the first compliment that I get is, "Oh, I really like your video. And what editing software did you use to do that?" And even if it's a compliment, and I'm happy that I can get this feedback, what did you use to edit? To me, sounds like, "Oh, you're a great photographer. What camera did you use? You might have a great camera." Today, I want to share my thoughts about this, about gear, about software, and how this has little thing to do to your final outcome for your videos. Having a better camera won't make your videos better right away. Having a better editing software won't make your videos good right away. Let's start with gear. Gear is really cool. You could enjoy buying new things and buying new gear, but the first mistake that you do as a filmmaker is thinking that upgrading your gear will make your videos instantly better. That could be true because you have the skills already and you know how to use the tool. This would be the same as if I give you a musical instrument and you don't know how to use it. You're not going to be able to produce better music because you have a better violin or a better guitar. It's the same with a camera. You can get a really expensive camera. I would get, for example, an FX6 today, and I would make better videos that I do with my current camera because it is a tool that I don't know. And could be that I even produce less videos with that because I'm not used to it. I don't understand the tool. And also, it requires more decisions that you need to take because it's a more complex camera than if you do it with a simpler camera. People always say gear doesn't matter, story is king, and you need to focus on story. I agree on some manner, but I think it matters. It matters at some point. What I want to emphasize is that you need to understand at what point you are for your skill. Something that filmmakers recommend is start with what you have. Start with your phone because that's the tool that you already own and you know how to use it. I agree with that. But I think you must start with your phone because it's the tool that you already know. Or you must start with the camera that you already own. Don't wait to create something until you have the better camera, the perfect camera, because that's only resistance and that's only going between you and your creativity. And the more complicated that the gear is, the more friction you're going to have to create. If you want to improve your skills, you need to do with the least amount of friction that you could have and start producing. There is going to be a moment that you notice that your gear is not enough, is limiting you and your creativity, and that's the moment that you need to upgrade your gear, not before. For example, I own this Sony a6700, but I've been a a6300 owner for 7 years already. I haven't upgraded from my previous camera because I was still learning things with that camera and it was not blocking my creativity. So when it was a moment that I thought that this was limiting my creativity and not being able to produce the best videos I could because of the gear limitation, that was the moment that I decided to upgrade the camera to this one. But I started creating videos with my phone, and I think it's a great tool because it's super easy to set up, it's super easy to make it look good, and it can help you focus on other things that are important, lighting, story, scripting your videos. There's so many variables that you can focus on, and that's also a topic that you need to understand. What are the things that you want to focus on? If you want to improve editing, do the video with the least amount of gear and this amount of friction that you can, because you can focus on the editing part. Once you're good at editing and you want to improve your filmmaking skills, then you can switch the effort. You can spend more time making your filmmaking skills better, and because you know already editing, it's going to be much easier for you to do that part. What I love about filmmaking is that there's so many things that you can learn, that it's a skill that you can constantly evolve and there's no ceiling. You can constantly improve that skill in so many different areas. Most of the skills that you need, you can learn free by watching YouTube videos. I learned a lot about filmmaking and creating videos by reading books about writing, about scripting, about storytelling. Most of my books are about these topics, and if you put all the books together, maybe it's 20 books, but $20 each, could be like $400 spent on books. This is like a cheap camera lens, but all the knowledge that you get from these 20 books is not what a new lens would give you. It's much, much, much higher. I'll link all the books about storytelling, about writing that I read over the years in the description below, so if you want to check it out. And let me know if you want that I discuss about some of these concepts. I already created one storytelling video, about how Apple does storytelling in their keynotes. You can check it out here. And in this one, I explain the concepts that I learned from a couple of these books and how these were applied in the Apple keynotes. So going back to the what editing software do you use, it doesn't matter either. If you learn how to edit in a simple program like iMovie, all these learnings that you get from this simple program, you're going to be able to use it in a more complex program. If you're starting editing right now, I would recommend something that it's easy and it's free. So it could be, if you're a Mac user, iMovie, or it could be DaVinci Resolve, the free version, because you can get a lot done with these tools. DaVinci Resolve is a great tool because you have all the room for improvement, because it's a pretty extensive tool. And I started with iMovie and then I switched to Final Cut when it was not enough for me. And that is what worked for me, but doesn't need to be the case for you. I know how to edit in Premiere, I know how to edit in Resolve, and I know how to edit in Final Cut. But Final Cut is the one that I'm most comfortable with and the one that I can edit faster, which in the end is what matters. It's how much time you spend to achieve what you have in your mind. As a software developer, it's the same. You shouldn't chase the latest and greatest, because every time you would need to learn the latest and greatest, and that wouldn't let you do new things or good things, because you're focusing on learning new things again. There's this entrepreneur, Peter Levels, that he creates a ton of good software, but he uses technology from 10 years ago because that's what he knows and that's the technology that he can be the most productive with. But even though he uses that, he's able to do one of the best SaaS products in the internet, because he focuses on the actual creative process and not in the tool itself. So in the end, you should learn new things from time to time. You shouldn't stop learning the new technologies, but at the same time, you need to know what works better for you and the ones that make you more productive, and stick to that in order to being able to have a good outcome. For me, there are 3 reasons to upgrade my gear. That happens with anything. Could be camera gear, could be a laptop, could be any tool that I use. First is it breaks. I cannot use the previous one anymore, so I need to upgrade no matter what. Second is my creativity is limited because of that tool. I think I could do much better with a new tool, a new laptop, a new camera. And sometimes you want to upgrade because you want the latest and greatest, but at least you recognize that that's the case. I don't need it. I think it's going to be more or less the same that the previous one. I think I'm going to be as productive more or less as the previous one, but I want to upgrade because I want to. And if you can afford it and you recognize that that's why you want to get the latest and greatest, then it's okay as well. It's in the end, it's your money, and if you want to spend it on that, that's okay as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, if you upgrade your gear regularly or if you upgrade from time to time, and what are the reasons for you to upgrade. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.